Hello my friends, welcome to What Culture Wrestling. My name is Simon Miller and we are but days but hours away from the Elimination Chamber 2021. And don't forget that structure cost $250,000 to make, which is probably why WWE decided we should have an annual pay-per-view dedicated to this stipulation. It sounds like it's going to be quite the wild ride, even though it's not the last stop to WrestleMania anymore, because we're going to have Fastlane for some reason, but still, it is a real thing, so we've got to do it. Put your thinking caps on and join me as we try and predict the pay-per-view with some proper crazy ideas. And as we do have two Elimination Chamber matches, we will start with the Raw Elimination Chamber match, which will see Drew McIntyre defend his WWE title. Let me see if I can remember this. Against Sheamus, against Jeff Hardy, against Randy Orton, against AJ Styles, and against none other than Kofi Kingston. Now, if you had asked me what was going to happen in this thing a few weeks ago, I would like Drew McIntyre is going to win. He'll Claymore kick everybody, and he will get every single victory, because everything we're doing with Drew right now is perfect. He's a strong babyface champion, and I love him, and if he wasn't already married, I would say, Drew, would you take my hand? Because he's that good of a wrestler. But given what happened on Raw, and the fact that Sheamus beat him, and the fact that maybe we're going to do Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, well, it's got me choking my non-existing beard. Choking, stroking. And this all does tie into Fastlane, because of course that's going to be the first WWE pay-per-view once the WWE Network moves across to Peacock. So do you want to kind of do some kind of big schmuzz there before you move on to the show of shows? And I think that maybe you do. Which leads us to lots of directions we could head in. One, Sheamus actually wins the WWE title Elimination Chamber, Drew McIntyre wins it back at Fastlane, and then you either do another rematch at WrestleMania, or there's a secret third person we don't know about, or you go the other way, so Drew McIntyre wins here, and then Sheamus wins it at Fastlane, and Drew wins it back at WrestleMania. I mean, maybe I'm pulling at straws, but that's the point of the video. And given that deep down in my gut, I'm kind of worried that maybe we're going to do Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman at WrestleMania, I am actually going to make the claim, which I shall regret, and I am picking the Irish curse. I am picking the Irishman. Sheamus is going to win the chamber. This is my I'm not confident stance. He's a wizard and he's getting some pizza. So even if I do get it wrong, I'll go look at this in the mirror and I'll laugh and I'll be happy again. There you go, we go in big guns. And also, Mustafa Ali better get involved in this. There's a quick one. Mustafa Ali and Retribution do not screw Kofi Kingston over, which makes so much sense when it goes to the story. Well, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to tune into Raw and we'll moan about it a little bit. But the world and life keeps on turning. We then have a match that may not even be a match, because down on paper and on all WWE related sites, they are saying that Asuka, the Raw Women's Champion, is going to be taking on Lacey Evans. But we're also being told that Lacey Evans is actually pregnant in real life. So how the hell is she going to fight? And there's been no announcements that this has been canned. There's been no announcement that there's been a substitution. So I don't know what to do. So again, I'm just going to guess. I mean, that's what I'm doing anyway. I'm going to guess. Peyton Royce, simply because she's Lacey Evans' friend, will be moved into this. And of course she'll lose because she hasn't been built up to that position. And Charlotte will probably go, yeah, Lacey Evans, I can't believe you're pregnant with my daddy's child. And Ric Flair will be like, woo, I'm the daddy. And that will make me chuckle. I don't know what to do. And I can't believe that Asuka has been moved into such a secondary position when one, she's a champion, but also two, she's one of the best wrestlers in the world. But no matter what happens, when we come out the other side, I'm going to say that Asuka is still the champ. But once again, am I confident? No, the whole thing is just crazy. And then it's the same with our triple threat match for the United States Championship, because apparently, and again, it's all murmurings and whispers, Keith Lee may not be in the thing when Bobby Lashley defends his title against Matt Riddle, and then yeah, maybe or maybe not Keith Lee. I don't even know what's going on with that one, but he wasn't on Raw, and that did make me go, well, why the hell is he on Raw? And I hope he's gonna be in this, because even though the story between Lashley and Riddle is absolutely ridiculous, because Lashley has whooped his ass time and time again, all three are brilliant professional wrestlers, and I think I'd actually enjoy it. And the reason I think that we did put three people in this is because either Keith Lee or Riddle is going to become the United States Champion, because that's a way that we can change the title without beating Bobby Lashley. And as we have learned over the last weeks, months, and maybe even years, nobody is allowed to beat Bobby Lashley, the most protected man in all of World Wrestling Entertainment. Of course, if that doesn't happen and it's just a one-on-one match between Lashley and Riddle, Riddle may as well retire now, because Bobby Lashley otherwise is probably gonna kill him. But it leaves me in such a precarious position. What am I meant to do? I don't even know what the flipping match is. So let's just pretend it is Keith Lee versus Riddle versus Lashley. Riddle will become the champion, but he's pitting Keith Lee. That will hurt me right there in my heart. That's not my heart, that's my stomach. Don't worry about that. And then Bobby Lashley will win it back, probably by just taking both their heads off with the Hurt Lock. But that's just what Bobby Lashley does. This pay-per-view has really gone in the way of my usual tradition. Thankfully, when it comes to our last two matches, we do know what's going on, and it's round 2 when it comes to the Elimination Chamber match itself. Because we have Jey Uso versus Kevin Owens versus King Corbin versus Daniel Bryan versus Cesaro versus Hammy, Zane, and incredibly, whoever wins that match will instantly go into a Universal title match against the one, the only Roman Reigns. Oh, my tribal chief, I love you. Now, surely we can only pick one of two people here. It's either going to be Daniel Bryan or Cesaro. And I love Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens is great. And I can even justify in my own brain why he keeps going after Roman, because he's never actually properly lost. I don't really feel like we need to do it again. And I also don't think we're going to do Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan or Roman Reigns versus Cesaro at WrestleMania, which means we got to do one of the two now. And for my money, it should be Cesaro, because you can just tell a lovely little story. Cesaro runs through the chamber. We're all excited for him because everybody wants to have Cesaro's babies. He then goes on to fight Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is about to lose, or you do something, when Seth Rollins screws over the Swiss Superman because they fell out on SmackDown. You can then have a moment between Reigns and Seth Rollins where they're like, oh man, we used to be in the Shield, buddy, but now we're not really in a relationship or whatever, don't worry about it. Coming out of it, you can do the feud between Cesaro and Seth Rollins, and how flipping good is that? And also, because Cesaro and Daniel Bryan are friends, maybe then you can do the WrestleMania match between Roman and Daniel Bryan. And once again, who doesn't want that? I do. My hand has gone into the upward position. I'm going to guess that Sami Zayn and King Corbin also somehow screw each other because they liked each other and they hated each other by the end of SmackDown the other day. And also, that doesn't really work. Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn doesn't work given their characters, and it's the same with King Corbin. So just do everything I laid out, and I actually think we have quite a good pay-per-view on our hands. Of course, there's also every chance that we do Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler taking on either, well, it could be Dakota Kai or Raquel Gonzalez, it could be Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, or it could be Naomi and Lana, and I think that one is more likely. So if we do the tag team champions versus the Raw #1 contenders, I can't put my little finger down. If we do that, I still think Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax are going to win. And while we are here, do you know who should relieve them of those titles? It should be the NXT 2 who just won the Dusty Classic. I think once SmackDown has come and gone as well, we may be getting another round between Big E and Apollo Crews, which I'm all right with. And do you know what? I actually think you should give Apollo Crews the Intercontinental title. You should do that by cementing the fact he has gone bad guy, and then he's the smartest guy in the room. There's nothing worse in wrestling when somebody goes to the dark side and then they never win a championship and they never win a match. So that was dumb. You just changed your entire moral compass, but it still didn't work. But if Apollo does do that and then he has the gold, I actually think that would be pretty good. And also, Big E can then win it back at WrestleMania, and that will be a lovely moment for him. Big E is great. And I'm sure we'll do Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke taking on Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan, because WWE just does matches like that all the time. It'll be on the pre-show. One of them will win, and then we will never talk about it. So even though there are a few bizarre things going on when it comes to the Elimination Chamber, I actually think if we do what we expect them to do, it will be a pretty damn good show. And also, when it does come to stipulation contests in WWE, they rarely miss. They usually hit, not necessarily home runs, but a good 3-hitter. Now, do not forget to go in those comments and let us know what you think is going to happen at the Elimination Chamber. Who do you want to win? Who do you want to lose? Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. And remember to breathe is massively important. Then head over to whatculture.com where you can read articles like this. Follow What Culture on Twitter, on social media to stay up to date and watch more videos. Look, they're right there, waiting to be clicked. My name is Simon What Culture. Thank you very much for watching me. As always, enjoy the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. I would say it comes but once a year, but knowing WWE, they could throw this stipulation anywhere, but pretend it's only once a year. Watch it with a smile on your face, and I'll see you on Monday when we do Up Those Downs for the flipping show.